Welcome, everyone. And my name is Marvin Jenkins, and I'm the coordinator for the Women's Business Center for Maryland Capital Enterprises. And we're a nonprofit organization, and we assist women entrepreneurs who are either starting a business or expanding their existing business. And we service the Eastern Shore of Maryland, Baltimore City, Baltimore County, and Anne Arundel County. And we offer a lot of educational programs, workshops, one-on-one consulting, counseling, as well as loan assistance. And we have offices in Salisbury, Maryland, and we have an office in Baltimore. And I'll put our link in the chat section as when we get started here. But today I'm going to turn it over to Rachel Howard. She is the Let's see if I can get this right, Rachel, Public Information Officer and Economic Development Specialist for the SBA. And she will introduce herself and Deborah. So I'll turn it over to you, Rachel.
All righty. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having us today. Of course, some of you have been with us before, different workshops or things, or, as an existing client of the WBC, you might already be aware that the WBC is a sponsor, a partner, a research partner of the SBA. So we are the federal government, and we are so excited to have MCE in the fold and hosting the center, and they're doing such great things. And we're always excited to partner and do these workshops. So it is my privilege today to introduce to you the lovely and talented Miss Deborah Brown. She is one of our financing experts out of our Baltimore district office, and she is going to take over, give you an idea of, again, kind of the who we are, how we can help you as SBA, but most importantly, how you can use our programs to fund your business. So whether you're just getting started or you've been in business, you need to expand, grow the business, whatever it may be, odds are we have a program that can help you do that. So I think what we'll do is we'll go through the presentation, and then we have the chat box feature that you guys can submit your questions. And then once we get through, we're going to circle back and give everybody an opportunity to ask their questions. So we'll kind of go through that chat box. Depending on how many folks we end up with, we may even have the opportunity for you just to unmute your mic. But for now, let's put those questions in the chat, and we will make sure we get to them as we go through. So without further delay, we will get to the good stuff, and I will introduce to you again Miss Deborah Brown. She is our lender relations specialist with the Baltimore district office, has a wonderful career in business banking, and we are so fortunate to have her as one of our employees now, sharing her knowledge with you. So Miss Deborah, it is all yours.
Thank you, Rachel. I am very excited to be a part of this webinar. Especially, I love to share my knowledge, my wisdom, the secrets that the lenders may hold. I love to tell and speak on those things to give you an idea of what to look for. I count it a privilege to be a part of this webinar. And so let's get started.
Can you guys see the screen? It should be the blue logo, the big blue backdrop.
Yes.
Okay, yeah. We are good to go.
Looks
then.
good.
Okay, and as Rachel said earlier, I am with the SBA, the Baltimore district office that's located in downtown Baltimore. We're still virtual, but we do conduct these webinars and accept phone calls and whatever means that we can do as far as how we can assist the businesses. And I will put my contact information in the chat for anybody that would like to speak with me one-on-one. Feel free to reach out to me. The SBA works to ignite change and spark action so small businesses can confidently start, grow, expand, and recover. You need a business loan to start or grow or expand? The SBA works with approved lenders and offer microloans and SBA-backed loans with competitive terms, lower down payments, flexible overhead requirements, counseling, and education. How can an SBA-backed loan help you? Launch, grow, or repair a startup? Start or purchase a small business? Access to revolving credit or working capital for day-to-day expenses? Purchase, renovate, or expand facilities? Purchase inventory, equipment, or machinery? Purchase land or real estate? Export a product or service? And keep in mind, back in 2004 and prior, you would have the opportunity to walk into any district office. We have district offices located in every state across the country, and actually apply for a direct loan. So SBA, the district offices no longer do direct lending. SBA does not. It's SBA, the middleman, which is the lender, and then the borrower. Next slide, please. Determine your credit worthiness. And I have, let me see here. I want to change this so that I can. Trying to move these pictures out of the way. Okay. Your local SBA district office or SBA resource partners can work with you to determine your credit worthiness using the 5 C's model. That's character, cash flow, collateral, capitalizations, and conditions. And in applying for access to capital, when you speak with a lender, they're looking for these 5 characteristics in your paperwork and in addition to your personality. I know I shouldn't say that, but I'm letting you know that. Next slide, please. Your personal credit standing. How do you find out how you will look to a lender? Order a copy of your credit history and FICO score. Largest credit reporting agencies are Equifax, TransUnion, and Experian. All are required to provide a free report every year. And the website is listed below, www.annualcreditreport.com. And I would strongly advise you to take advantage of that for several reasons. Number one, there are a lot of scammers out there, and you want to know what's going on, and you don't want to be surprised when a lender pulls your credit report and they find something on there that you did not know about. But what I can tell you and advise you on, if you do have some, for a lack of a better term, some hiccups or challenges that has been reported, please be upfront with the lender. Let them know what's out there and what they can find ahead of time. Next slide, please. Increase your chances of securing a loan. First thing the lenders want to know is that they're making a smart choice by giving your loan. Your local SBA resource partners can help you develop your business plan, expense sheets, financial statements, and financial projections. And I think that with our resource partners, and we'll get further into that further down in the slides, but take advantage of those opportunities. I like free stuff. Your tax dollars are paying for these resources. So I would advise you to take advantage of that. If there is a fee for some of the workshops, it's very minimal. Next slide, please. The basics of your loan request. Every lender, the first question that that they're going to ask is, how will you pay the money back? And if you consider that you were loaning someone money, you would want to know, well, how am I going to get my money back? How am I going to be repaid? And these are the questions that you should really consider. How much can you afford to pay each month? And then you have the loan payment. How many months or years will you need to pay the loan back? And that's dealing with the maturity date. Do you own anything of value, such as real estate, which can be used as collateral, that you can pledge to the lender to support a loan? How much is what you own worth? What is your company's financial condition? Can you pay all of your bills every month? Are you paying your bills on time? Do you ever write checks for more than you have in your checking account? And banking terms, that's known as kiting. You write a check thinking that that deposit is going to hit in time, and it could be a delay and it cause you to have a bounce check, non-sufficient funds. And that's a derogatory mark against that account. The bank will make fees. That's how they make their money, by earning those fees on those deposit accounts. A lender will review average collected balances. That's your average balance that you carry over on a month-to-month basis. Next slide, please. Financial information. What do you need? You will need to provide a balance sheet, file tax returns, income statement, projections, and assumptions. How far do you need to go? How far back do you need to go? Typically, a minimum of 2 years. And notice the word typically, because they may request you to provide 3 years worth of filed tax returns. Can you put this together on your own? Possibly. You can be very, very intelligent and IT savvy, even good with the numbers. But this is where an expert assistance is really important. If you receive assistance with your projections, make sure, and I have pictures at the bottom, but make sure that you are aware, you know what those projections are. You're familiar with anything that you're submitting to the banker. And I always tell everyone, it's better to have a third eye when you're looking with numbers, looking over paperwork, to have that third eye on what you're ready to submit, because it could be something so minimum that you overlook. So with our partners, they know exactly what to look for because they deal with the lenders, and from their training, and a lot of our partners are previous business owners. And so that's one up in the game that you could really take advantage of. Next slide, please. SBA has a program that's out on a separate website known as Lender Match. Lots of times, you know, when you're looking for capital, you're like, well, which bank should I go to? I had a bad experience with this bank and I heard rumors about this other bank. You could actually go out on this website known as Lender Match. Number one, describe what your needs are. Number two, interested lenders will reply within 2 days. You'll have the opportunity to talk to the lender. And number four, if ready, only if you're ready, you can apply for a loan. Now, these lenders are countrywide, and it's more like, I can give you a hypothetical example. Like if you live in the state of Maryland and you have a mortgage, but your mortgage company is actually out of Texas, that's the same way it could be for your business loan. Next slide, please. One-on-one mentoring, confidential coaching. That is really, really important. If you were to call me and you have a widget company and you're building widgets, and I know of a business that's interested in doing something similar, I am bound by the code of ethics that I cannot share any business owner, their personal or what they're doing. Even with, if I had a webinar, for example, and I have a list of 300 attendees, I cannot submit that list to our partners. What we will do, if requested by the attendees, they were interested in talking to Rachel Howard, I can put Rachel's contact information and you can reach out to Rachel directly. So it's all about confidentiality. SBA funded resource partners offer you free business counseling. Like I said, I like that word free. Sessions via phone and video. Business coaches can help you strategize your business solutions. Specialists are standing by to assist you with your business loan application. Some of our partners are the Maryland Small Business Development Center, and the government loves acronyms, which known as the SBDC, and they are located in every state, and we have several locations in the state of Maryland. We have SCORE, which consists of previous business owners, and they're located in different counties across the state of Maryland. We have the Women's Business Center, which the Baltimore Metro Women's Business Center is located in Morgan State University. Maryland Capital Enterprises, located in Salisbury. And we have a Women's Business Center in Rockville. The Veterans Business Outreach Center for our veterans, or even if your spouse is a veteran, or you have the opportunity to take advantage of what they have. And you can see the contact information that's located at the bottom of the slide, along with the phone numbers. Next slide, please. And at this point, I am going to turn this portion of the PowerPoint over to the dynamic, faithful, and hardworking that multitask on every level, and it's great in every level. Rachel Howard.
You're too much, but thank you very much for that. So yeah, I'm gonna just back up 1 second, and we can circle back to this. But when Deb was just going through the resource partners, I don't want anybody to feel pressure to, scribble it all down and, get notes and things as we're going through. Number one, we can certainly get with MCE and send everybody a copy of the presentation for today. So you'll have the slides, the PDF version. But you can also go directly to the SBA.gov website, and you're able to click on the button that says local assistance. A new screen will pop up and you simply put in your zip code and it will automatically generate a map for you of all of the SBA directly resource partners, lenders, all of that will be right there for you at the touch of a button. So we can, again, we'll circle back to that, but just SBA.gov for local assistance. So since we are here today as part of the Women's Business Center, we wanted to throw in just a slide or two on the Ascent Learning Platform. It's something that's relatively new to SBA. I know we've talked about it, again, briefly on, maybe a previous workshop if you were with us for that. But the really cool thing is, again, this is a free service. You'll see here, this is just the main screen, the screenshot. It does say log in, so you will be entering just your basic information. I honestly think if I remember when I did it, it may have even just literally been an email address. So really easy, free. This is a learning platform where you're going to go at your own pace. And the way they have designed it is, you'll see in this top left corner on that kind of menu bar there, the search bar, it says browse journeys. So what they've done is they've taken the main topics or areas of interest for starting or managing a business, and they call them journeys. So think of it like a book, the chapters of a book. So it's really easy for you to log on, click your journey, your chapter, wherever you're at, and you go through the sessions, the little segments, and they're really short, but yet meaningful, very thoughtful, and you can kind of do it as it works into your schedule. Maybe you're in the car rider line picking the kids up. Maybe you're, you have some fun time there playing in the pool, and you got some time to sit in the shade and kind of scroll through things, whatever it may be. Might be 2 a.m. I know I do some of my best work and crash course, cranking work out in the middle of the night. So whatever it may be, it works at your pace. You're able to save your progress, so you can always jump back in and pick up right where you left off. And the other thing I really do like about the Ascent, again, is it's designed, I'll say, to keep your interest, but more importantly, we all learn differently. Some of us are visual learners. Some of us, need to hear things or whatever it may be. So there are videos, there are blogs, there are simply some chapters that you go through, there are quizzes. So it's interactive, and it really kind of keeps your attention span and gives you a couple different ways to grasp that information. So that being said, let's go one more. The newest piece of this is that SBA has kind of taken that original Ascent that we launched not long ago, and they wanted to create a rural pilot program. So since, the majority of the MCE folks, I'm going to say, are, on the Eastern Shore, more of that rural area, I wanted to take a second and put these slides in here. So again, that rural, the Ascent traditionally is that free online self-paced learning program. What they're trying to do is kind of take that concept to the next level and create this Ascent Rural Pilot. What it is it's going to be really an in-depth, much longer term, more of a traditional training program, let's say, in that you will have sessions that you would check in online. You will have a coordinator that will be assigning you homework. So you'll see here, it gives you kind of the nuts and bolts of it, what you need to do to qualify. You need obviously to be a woman-owned small business. You should either be a startup or be, under 5 years of operationally in business. You should be located in a rural area. And then they really are looking right now, again, at that very small, they're targeting those average revenues of less than $50,000. $50,000. So I've put this in here because every day this week they're having a session at 3:30. It's just a half-hour session. So if you're interested or you think this might be beneficial to you, we're encouraging everybody just to hop on, and sit there for a half hour and hear and learn a little bit more about it. So again, we can send this email out, or we have a flyer, chat. We can come back to all of that. I don't want to take away from our main topic of finance. I know that's why we're here, but I did want to throw that out. It's a really great new resource, and could be very helpful. And again, easy to fit it in your schedule. So I'm going to move on to the next one, which we'll leave this here for a few minutes. Again, as Deb had mentioned, we are the Baltimore district office. Forgive me, I think we covered it, maybe we didn't. We do cover the whole state of Maryland except PG and Montgomery County. So if there is anybody with us from those more suburban, DC, Maryland counties, you would be served by our counterparts that are operating out of the District of Columbia office. But a lot of that happens behind the scenes, so don't get too hung up on that. Our sba.gov/MD is our local webpage, which will give you some more localized information, links to different agencies at the state level that may be helpful to you. It does have our calendar of events, as Deb had mentioned, links to Lender Match, and again, that local assistance option. Certainly, we are available to you by phone. We do have the email there in the middle, Baltimore. That's actually an underscore under that empty space, Baltimore_DO@sba.gov. We do have Twitter @SBA_Baltimore. That's the quickest way for us to send information out on new updates, programs, announcements, that kind of thing. And certainly we have an electronic newsletter. So again, the biggest thing, and I say it all the time, I'm a broken record, Marvin can laugh at me, but we're here to help. So please, if you leave with nothing else today, just know that help is available, but you just need to let us know that you need us. So whether you reach out to the resource partner or to one of us individually, again, we're here to help, and lots of choices. You are not alone. So I'm going to go to the chat. And let's see what we've got. We'll kind of go through this, whatever's in here, and then we can certainly open it up if folks want to unmute and ask their question. So let's see, we've got the WBC website here for you guys. We have the first question. So the loan goes through the SBA. I just want to be sure I understand. So I guess, Deb, if you want to take a second and go through kind of how it works. I know sometimes people end up with an SBA loan and they didn't really know that's what it was. So I guess maybe
right. That's very true. Actually, the way the process is, you have two types of lenders. You have the non-preferred lenders and then the preferred lenders. Some of our bankers out there, and I'm not going to name who's who or whatever, because I don't want to sway you in any direction. The preferred lenders, they have the authority that if they underwrite a loan, and ordinarily they would approve it, but say if the credit score is not up to their standards, or maybe the collateral is not sufficient, but they know that you have the ability to repay the loan, they can actually represent SBA and underwrite the loan with SBA's guarantee. And the way that the role that SBA plays in the loan program is that we guarantee the loan to make it more attractive for the lender to loan money. And our guarantees are, it could be 50%, 75%, 85%, 90%, up to 100% for the disaster loans. Now, the non-preferred lenders, they don't have the authority to underwrite an SBA loan. If they see that there are challenges that SBA may be able to assist, they actually have to complete the application and submit it to our loan processing center that's located in Citrus Heights, California. And you didn't hear this from me, but I know it's being recorded. The turnaround time prior to the pandemic, I will say this, for the loan processing center to review the applications and come up with an answer is 3 days. So if you're dealing with a lender and they're saying, well, we're waiting to hear back from SBA, that's not true. And what I can tell you, if you take advantage of every opportunity and resource that's out there to get you prepared before you go to the table to speak with the lender, you should have the attitude that you are interviewing that lender as far as whether or not you want to do business with them and not the other way around. That is possible. That is definitely possible. Was that did I answer the question?
I think so. So we'll move through. And then, like I said, I think we should have some time and the availability for folks
Okay.
to unmute. So we'll just keep going for right now.
Okay.
And again, we may have covered this one, but what is the difference between a micro loan and an SBA backed loan?
Oh my goodness, that is such a fantastic question because all I said was microloans. Okay, we have a partnership with micro lenders. There are like 4 of them located across the state of Maryland, and they do business across the state of Maryland. With our micro lenders, SBA loans go up to $5.5 million as a whole. And those are for the big ticket companies like the construction companies or any type of business that's doing like really big commercial properties and things of that nature. The micro lenders, what they're good for is if you do have those credit challenges and you need some startup costs, they will work with you. They will counsel you. They will start you off with a smaller loan where traditional banks may not even want to entertain the fact of loaning you money. They're out there. They will start you and help you to grow into, I'll say, the status where your credit is better. They won't repair your credit, but they'll give you the nuggets to get you on the right path. Now, some of the micro lenders, they can go as high as, they have programs as high as 250,000, but the main loan program is up to 75,000. That's the hiccup, but they have loans where they could do $5,000. You know, it depends on what you're able. They're not, no lender, I don't care if it's a micro lender or a loan shark in the back alley. Well, they may, we know some of those too, but they may give you something that you can't afford to pay back, but no lender, I would be weary of them if you know your paperwork and you're not sure how you're going to pay it back. If they're willing to loan you the money, you should back away. That's a risk. But you can reach out to me and we can talk one-on-one, and I'll be able to put you in contact with the micro lenders if that's where your interests lie. Please feel free to reach out to me.
Yeah,
Next
and
question.
I'll just chime in there and just say, you know, the micro loans are a really great way for you to establish credit in the name of
Yes.
the business. There's one thing that unfortunately we see a lot, and I know, you know, again, Marvin's with us, and certainly Deborah and I both know this very well. You know, it just turns our stomach, quite honestly, when we hear that somebody has financed their business with a credit card, or they've borrowed, you know, taken
Yes.
money out of their 401k, you know, and they have huge penalties and fees and things. So again, if you leave with nothing else today, you know, call us and just check in first, you know, before you rack up those cards or you know, you max things out, and let's just see what your options are. And I'll give a shout out, you know, again to MCE. I vividly am aware of, you know, one of their clients, again, on the Eastern Shore. She's actually in Talbot County, a young lady that has a hair salon that had come to MCE, both as a client of the Women's Business Center, received some counseling as she's working on the business plan and growing the business, but she also got a micro loan. So it was a very small amount of money, and I'm going to say it was, you know, roughly $5,000 to $7,000. But it enabled her to purchase a new laptop, to get some software so that she could, use an online system to track her customers and to take credit cards. I want to say there was, maybe some new cabinetry or a shampoo bowl or something like that. So again, this kept her from dipping into her son's college savings, and gave her the opportunity to again establish that business. And the great thing about microlenders, since that's our topic at the moment, is that you're actually assigned a technical assistance provider. That
Exactly.
loan in particular, you are assigned a representative that will check in on you. Hey, how's it going? How you doing? Are we spending the money that, maximizing those dollars, using them in the best way? Are we on track? Can we help you with anything? So again, a really great way, to build your credit, and hopefully save you some heartache, with those credit card fees or, penalties and things like that. The next question kind of in turn with that same one we
Okay.
just has, yeah,
Well, Rachel, let me say
yep,
this, right in the line of what you're saying.
yep,
If you do for startups and existing business as well, if you do use your money, and my advice is to make it very minimal. Make sure you hold on to all of your receipts of anything that you invest in your business. Because one of the things that's required when they're underwriting your loan, you have your business plan, you have your resume, okay? And there's a document known as the credit memorandum. And your business plan, that's why when we suggest to you to reach out to the resources, is like the nucleus of your loan packet. That really will, it weighs so heavy, it could be the determining factor on whether or not you're going to get approved. Because the information from that business plan is transferred over to the credit memorandum. From the credit memorandum, what's required is known as an equity injection for the lenders. And what that is, they want to know how much skin have you put in the game. That's a banker's term. So if you're not willing to invest in your own self, then you can't very well expect someone else to invest in your business. So by holding those receipts, if you get, and I'm going to use hypothetical figures. If you get a loan, if you're applying for a loan for $20,000 and they tell you, okay, if you want a loan for 20,000, we're going to need you to inject at least 5,000. So they're actually only loaning you 15,000. So with the $5,000, if you go back into your shoebox and you can show where you paid for permits, you paid attorney fees, you purchased some inventory, you took courses to prepare anything pertaining to that business. You have gas receipts, you met with professionals, you had a lunch with professionals and you carried the bill, just all types of training, anything. And it adds up whereby you spent out of pocket so far like $2,500. So when you go to the table, the cash amount you would need would be $2,500 as opposed to 5,000. That's why it's very, very important that you keep your records straight and concise so that you can go back and keep them organized and you can take advantage of that. Okay, I just wanted to add that in. Sorry, Rachel.
yeah, no, absolutely. That's a great point. So there was a question about, do we have lists of lenders? Again, we do have some of those documents. You can reach out to us,
Yes.
but again, the lender match, if you put in the zip code there, it'll generate the list for you. Next question, does the business already need to have an income before you get the loan, or could you come into the banker with your business plan and a good credit score? I think we kind of touched on it, but we'll just circle back.
Well, when you don't have credit for business credit, they look at your personal credit, and that's a part of your character. So if your personal credit is good, then that's another risk factor. It's less of a risk for them to loan you money because you're starting up. But if you have challenges out there and delays in paying your debt, then that could be frowned upon, because if you're not taking care of your personal credit, as well as, who's going to want to take the risk that you're not, that you will take care of your business credit. And sometimes, like, even that is the first thing. If you have no business credit, they rely on your personal credit. If you have not filed financials for your business, then they use your personal financials. If you have to use collateral, say if you use your home as collateral and it's a wife, but your husband is not a part of the business, then your husband would be required, the lender would require your husband to sign a clause, a statement saying that he's aware of, and I'm using layman terms, he's aware of that this house is being used for collateral. And he doesn't have a problem with the lien, a second mortgage being put on the property. Now, here's the caveat. You don't have to have equity in your home for lenders to use it as collateral. They will sign a lien as an abundance of caution. Because if you think about how the housing market, maybe 5 years ago, you had no equity in your home. And then within the past year or so, it skyrocketed. So that's what lenders look for. The market doesn't always remain the same. But the main thing, if you're paying your personal bills late, that's going to hinder you. Even if you're paying your business bills, for those that have been in business for a while, if you're paying your business bills on time, they're still looking at your personal financials as well.
Okay. This one I know is going to be a little tough. We don't really have an answer, but I'm going to let Deborah answer it anyway. Haha, still love me. What credit score range is typically needed to secure an SBA backed loan?
Well,
there's no set answer, I know. But
right. It depends on the lender.
Yep.
You have some traditional banks, they only look at 700 and above. Some of them are, because of the pandemic, they're at 800. The micro lenders, and I'm guesstimating on this as far as last I heard, so don't hold my feet to the fire. Maybe 596 or something of that nature. It depends on the lender, and understand they will let you know up front, because they don't want to waste your time and they don't want to waste their time.
And again, that may be a situation where the micro lenders may be able to work with you. And again, the resource partners we talked about, obviously the Women's Business Center, SCORE, the SBDC, those counselors, again, offering those free services, can work on credit repair, and identifying different programs. So I think, again, don't leave today thinking it's an absolute yes or no. Obviously, every business, every plan, every person is different. So it never hurts to ask.
And I tell you this, Rachel, I'm so glad that you said that, because I'm going to piggyback on your knowledge. I just love the stuff that she knows. You have the capability to write to all 3 credit bureaus, what's known as a consumer statement, because life happens. If you lost your job and you were out of work, say in 2015, and you did not, you collected unemployment, and so it wasn't the same income that you were accustomed to having. And so it kind of stunted your livelihood there for a moment. And you found, let's say you became gainfully employed in 2017. So you write to credit bureaus and you put in an explanation of what happened during that period of time, and they'll see that the low pays that came in, as long as it was in that window of time. I'm not saying that you're guaranteed to be approved, but that's an explanation as far as what happened. If you had a 2-party income household and you were divorced. And so you lost a whole income and it's you by yourself and you're trying to, you had to try to figure things out. So these are life situations, just examples of things that can happen that could throw a little tizzy into there. So don't stop because you think that, well, my credit score is only 500. Get with the partners, be clear, be concise, be upfront. Let them know what you've been through, what you're going through, and where you want to be headed. And then they will let you know this is the first step. And what I love about our resource partners, they don't leave you out there alone. They will walk the journey with you. And even if you get your business up and it's running, they will still talk with you because you may want to take your business to the next level or the third level. They don't forget about you. Make yourself known, and they will give you homework. And with that homework, do it because it lets them know that you're serious about your business. If you're not serious about your business, you can't expect anybody else to be. And it may be a little rough as far as how I'm wording it, but I'm being honest with you.
Yep, absolutely. So we have a question about the slides. Absolutely. We will get everybody a copy of the slides. We as SBA will send it over to Marvin at the Women's Business Center, and he can send it on out to the registered folks that are with us today. So we will definitely get that for everybody. This is a question that has come in. We actually have with us today one of our SCORE counselors. So thank you for joining us today. And he's asking just for some clarification. So we're going to kind of revisit the advantages, the benefits of an SBA loan. So the question or the comment here was that traditionally, typically the criteria for guaranteeing a loan is essentially the same, whether it's a personal or a business loan. So a lot of times the client or the business owner will ask, why do I need SBA? Why do I want to go through SBA? A typical answer would be that it is often difficult for the bank to give a loan for starting a business unless you would have something to kind of put up. Again, that skin in the game. Do you have, a pretty big balance at the bank? Do you have a CD or, that 401k things that you could convert? Again, that collateral. So I guess, Deb, if you'll just kind of revisit that list of what are the advantages of having an SBA loan? What are the benefits of going through SBA?
One of the benefits, the main benefit, if you're renovating property and not residential property, but commercial property, the flexibility of the terms. Ordinarily, a lender may give you only 20 years or something of that nature. If it's an SBA-backed loan, it may give you 30 years. And so with that being said, that makes the longer the terms of the loan, it doesn't lock you into that saying that you can't pay it off early, but you have smaller payments. And then even with the rates, it depends on what the prime is. The lender still has to make some money. So they're going to, but the rates are not as high. And and keep in mind that even though you borrow $100,000 from the lender, hypothetical figure, and we're guaranteeing 75%, you would still owe the entire amount of the loan. But the lender, if you default, because let's be honest, that's a reality of life. Not every business make it. Should the business go south, then the lender can come back to the government and say, please honor my guarantee. They don't say please, but my guarantee needs to be honored. And the government will, as long as everything is in order, they will pay back $75,000. And the lender could write off the $25,000, but it is the lender's position and their duty and responsibility to actually collect on that $100,000. And that's when it comes in the ugly side of the business. If you put your home up for collateral they'll go after that lien.
All right. Do
Also,
lenders,
inventory, I'm sorry, Rachel.
you're fine.
Also, as collateral, it doesn't necessarily have to be your home. You could have equipment. You can have inventory, things of that nature. You can have life insurance, you know, as collateral.
And Deb, I'm going to jump in because there's a question down farther in the line. So while we're talking about houses, you know, the question is, can a house that still has a mortgage balance be put up as collateral?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
As in the statement I said, that even
Yep.
if it's no equity, they'll put that lien out there as an abundance of caution,
Yep.
you
And
know,
so,
but so if, I'm sorry, Rachel.
no,
but,
no, you're
no, I'm old, so I have to say it while I can remember,
good.
because
You
I'll
are.
forget it. But if, you know, and I'm just this is a reality course, okay? If the house has to be foreclosed on and you have a first mortgage out there, that first mortgage has to be paid off, paid in full. So if if you had $50,000 worth of equity in the home, that $50,000 would go back to the bank that you owe and not to you. Life insurance. God forbid, should you pass, they're going to take the policy if you put it up as collateral, but only up to the loan amount. If you have $1 million policy and you only owe them $100,000, they only want the 100,000. And if they have attorney fees, they have a right to charge you attorney fees. Any expenses that the bank may have incurred, it becomes your responsibility.
All right. A couple of these I think we've sort of already covered, so I'm going to jump down the line just a little bit here. Maximum loan amount, I know we've covered. I think the max is now what, 5.5 million, Deborah, for the biggest loan that
Yes.
we would do. So again, really any amount, you know, from that small 5, 10,000 on up, you know, into the millions. We have a couple different programs that can help. Let's
One
see.
of the I'll say the most popular loan program is known as the 7A loan program. And a lot of the lenders are definitely familiar with. And that can be used to purchase real estate. It can be used for working capital, for payroll, for inventory, for equipment, all kinds of things. For insurance on the property, permits, but keep in mind, the way these loans are dispersed, if you get a loan for $500,000, 7A loan, the bank is not going to write a check out to you for $500,000. If you're renovating a property and you needed to get the floors in and the contractor has finished the floors, that check will be written out and also they'll come and verify that the work has been completed. They'll write the check out between you and the contractor. So the disbursement of proceeds, it's in segments, not in one lump sum. And if you get to the end of it and you don't need the full 500,000, you realize, well, I only needed 400,000 because I got a deal on this contractor. You don't have to take the 500,000. They'll just contact SBA and say that they adjusted. It's a loan adjustment.
All right. We're getting close to the end here, so I'm going to kind of summarize a couple of these questions, and then I'm going to turn it back over to Marvin because I know he usually has some kind of like a wrap-up message or follow-up for everybody. So what I'm seeing here, kind of the next section, a lot of this is all centered around the business plan and, you know, what do you need before you go see your lender? You know, should you have the business already registered? You know, does the plan need to be written? You know, how, I guess, far along should you be in that process? So Deb, I'm going to give my answer and then you can tell everybody I'm wrong and you can correct me. So what I would always say to folks is that you absolutely need that business plan to be completed ahead of time. Whether or not you've actually, started the business, registered the name, those things kind of remain to be seen. Again, it's going to depend on your individual industry, where you're going to be located, the kind of a business, that sort of a thing. But before you even start to talk about going and meeting with a lender or finding somebody to talk money with, I really can't say it enough times that you should really get with one of our resource partners, two of our partners. The more information, the better. There's no limit on how many partners you work with, how many times you work with them. Again, this year, next year, 5 years from now, whatever it may be. So the counselor, that mentor research partner is going to be able to sit with you, go through that business plan, and again, make sure that everything is in order. So again, as Deb mentioned, you want to put your best foot forward before you get to the lender. They have a limited amount of time, and let's face it, a limited amount of, attention span. You want to, again, put your very best foot forward so that you don't get pushed off to the side of the desk. They have too many questions. They're not sure where you're headed. You, again, want to have everything in that order. There's a question.
Okay, I'm sorry, Rachel.
Go.
In light of that business plan, because sometimes you may not know where to start, SBA has out on their website, they have templates that can get you started. Even if you start like in paragraphs and then you pull it all together. But your business plan should not be 40 pages long. Because I guarantee you, when you go before a resource partner, they're going to tell you, what are all these pages? And heaven forbid that you would go and sit in front of a lender. You lost them after the second page. So it's very important. Look at the templates and know where you're trying to go. Even if you haven't completed your business plan, still reach out to your resource partners because they'll let you know if you're on the right track.
Absolutely. And one parting thought before, again, I turn it back over to Marvin. That business plan can seem like such a daunting task. And as Deborah said, this doesn't need to be, 40, 60, 100 pages by any means. It's more important to be concise and to get your thought out than it is to worry about just a bunch of words to fill the pages. But I always encourage everyone to think of the business plan. It's not a chore. It's not a task because my counselor made me do it. It's not because the lender made me do it. They have to see it. Think of it as an investment in yourself. This is going to be a living document that you can refer to, as you're planning, maybe in a year, in 2 years, you have a minute and you take a breath. What on earth was I thinking? Oh, well, in 5 years, I wanted to have 3 stores open, whatever it may be. So again, it's something that you're going to constantly refer to, and you really should think of it as an investment in yourself and not just one more thing on the to-do list. So I'm going to be quiet. I know, exciting. Everybody's happy. And I am going to let Marvin take back over. I'm going to stop screen sharing here. Let's try that and turn it back over to you, Marvin. So again, thank you so much for having us, and to everybody that joined us. And we'll make sure we get slides out to everybody.
Okay, well, thank you, Rachel, and thank you, Deborah. A lot of good information there. One thing I will say about MCE and the Women's Business Center at MCE, when it comes to just a couple things that we've already talked about this, but I'll throw it in there. When it comes to a credit score, I mean, a lot of people say, well, I just don't have a good enough credit score, so I'm not even gonna pursue it. Don't do that.
Right.
I mean, really, I mean, we're here to help. And just because you have a bad credit score doesn't mean you can't get a loan. Obviously, there's a lot of factors that go into that. So, we get into the detail of it. And with a business plan, like Rachel said, well, I think we've all said that, the longer it is, the less people are going to be interested in reading it all. So the main thing is the executive summary. That summarizes pretty much everything that's in that business plan. And really a business plan, if you've got 2, 3, 4, 5 pages, that's more than enough for to get a loan. So just wanted to throw that out there. One other thing, we do have a webinar coming up. I think it's August 16th, the same time, where we have MCE has a funding webinar, and it's just for the MCE finances. So, and you can ask a lot of the questions there, and we have our loan our regional director, Nick Rudolph from the Baltimore area. He'll be conducting it, and he'll answer any question you have about a loan, about credit scores, about business plans. I mean, that's what he does, and it's really a good one. I think
That's a good one.
anybody that's interested really should try to attend that too,
Yeah.
because it's more centralized on you know, what we do here. And but a lot of good information out there, and like I say, we'll send the PowerPoint presentation from today, the recording, and an evaluation too. If we'll send an evaluation out, and you can evaluate what you thought of today's webinar. And with that, that's pretty much all I have, other than thank everybody for attending.
Thank you, Marvin. Thank you for having me.
Thank
And
you. Very, very enjoyable. Thank you.
Thank you all to all the attendees. Thank you, Rachel.